In 1572, the Wicked Witch Malkin is imprisoned atop a high mountain by Spook Gregory, a warrior dedicated to fighting dark creatures. His duty is to protect the world from witches, so he locks Malkin away. However, years later, a full-blood moon appears, restoring her powers. Malkin transforms into a monstrous flying creature and escapes from her cell. Meanwhile, Gregory is drinking at a tavern when his apprentice, William, rushes in to report an infected girl at the church. Gregory, on a break, refuses to help, leading a man to call him out. When the man touches Gregory's shoulder, Gregory shoves him away and starts a fight using only his mug. He even gives the man a sword to make things more exciting, but continues to take him down with his mug before dousing him in alcohol. Afterward, Gregory and William head to the church, armed and ready. Inside, they find a possessed girl chained to a column. She hurls across at them with her powers, but Gregory catches it with ease. The father confirms that she has been like this since the previous night. Suddenly, the girl speaks in a demonic voice, revealing that Malkin has escaped. Realizing the witch is possessing her, Gregory places a bag of magic powder around the girl's neck, making her collapse. Dark energy leaves her body, and she returns to her normal self, allowing her relieved parents to take her home. However, the dark energy reforms into Malkin, who taunts Gregory and tries to enchant William, but he resists. At Gregory's signal, William throws an axe at the ceiling rope, causing a massive bell to fall, but Malkin dodges and transforms into a beast, slashing Gregory's chest before trying to escape. William shoots her with an arrow and traps her in a silver net, but she flies through the door, dragging him with her and slamming him into a wall. Despite the impact, William holds on, giving Gregory time to catch up. Together, they pull the net, forcing Malkin into her human form. They imprison her in a cage, but just as Gregory is about to lock it, Malkin grabs William and pulls him inside. She chokes him, filling him with darkness until he dies. Enraged, Gregory sets the entire cage on fire, but Malkin transforms again, breaks free, and escapes. Meanwhile, in a nearby forest, Tom attempts to hunt, but is interrupted by his sister, who reminds him of their farm chores. Though not a skilled hunter, Tom keeps trying because he longs for more than a farmer's life. Suddenly, he experiences intense visions of Gregory and a mysterious woman. His mother comforts him, as these visions are common for him. Moments later, Gregory arrives at their farm, prompting Tom's mother to hide her necklace. Gregory is searching for a boy who is the seventh son of a seventh son and demands food. Tom admits he fits the description, and Gregory offers money to take him as an apprentice. Though his mother protests, believing it's too dangerous, Tom insists on going, recognizing Gregory from his visions. Before he leaves, his mother gives him her necklace, instructing him to wear it always. Meanwhile, Malkin returns to her lair and finds her sister, Lizzie, badly burned. She immediately heals her and uses magic to restore the lair. After a long boat journey, Gregory and Tom arrive in the city. Gregory hands Tom some money and tells him to buy supplies while he heads to the tavern. As Tom explores, he discovers a woman named Alice about to be burned by the townspeople, who believe she is a witch. Recognizing her from his visions, Tom intervenes, claiming to be Gregory's apprentice and promising to deal with the witch. The townspeople let him take Alice away, and once alone, Tom frees her. Alice warns him that Gregory's apprentices always die, then asks him not to mention her to Gregory before disappearing. That evening, Alice returns to Malkin's lair, revealing herself as Lizzie's daughter. Malkin, pleased that Alice has been spying on Gregory, declares they must gather all dark creatures in preparation for the blood moon. Back with Tom, he and Gregory travel through eerie woods, where Tom is startled by ghostly figures. Gregory explains that spooks only hunt aggressive monsters, and that they must stop Malkin soon. Tom then has another vision of Malkin's escape and faints. He wakes the next morning to find himself on a boat with Gregory and a troll named Tusk. They eventually arrive at Gregory's home, filled with weapons, books, and advanced contraptions. Tom discovers a tapestry depicting the Falcons, an ancient order of noble knights who trained seventh sons of seventh sons to fight darkness. Once thousands strong, Gregory is now the last remaining member. While training usually takes 10 years, Gregory announces they only have a week to prepare before the blood moon, an event that, in the past, made witches so powerful they waged war. That night, Tom is awakened by Gregory calling for help. Investigating, he finds a suit of armor containing a skeleton. As he turns to leave, the armor suddenly moves and attacks. Tom runs as the possessed armor smashes through obstacles. It throws a spear, which he dodges, before climbing onto contraptions for height. The armor follows, attacking with its sword and destroying everything in its way. It then grabs Tom and prepares to kill him, but Gregory intervenes, using his staff to overpower it and destroy the darkness inside. Afterward, Gregory scolds Tom for disobeying orders and failing his first test. He then throws a staff at Tom and immediately attacks with a sword, mocking Tom's family. Tom struggles but eventually, in frustration, throws a sword that narrowly misses Gregory's head. Impressed, Gregory agrees to continue training him. He teaches Tom about Malkin's demonic minions, her lieutenants, and how to fight dark creatures. Tom learns knife throwing, how to use special metals and herbs against monsters, and how to protect himself from spells. Meanwhile, at the lair, Malkin's lieutenants arrive with an army of demonic minions. When one minion dares to look at Malkin, she kills it instantly, showing her ruthlessness. Alice realizes Malkin doesn't care about her own kind and tries to warn Lizzie, but Lizzie insists Malkin would never harm family. That night, Tom again wakes to a noise and finds Alice bathing in a lake. She asks him to turn away before stepping out and magically dressing herself, but when Tom grabs her hand, a bright spark appears. Alice reveals that she is a witch, and explains that if a witch touches a man under the moonlight and a spark appears, it means he is her true love. She also insists not all witches are evil, and admits she has been spying on Gregory. Just as they are about to kiss, Tusk makes loud noises in his sleep, interrupting them. When Tom turns to check, Alice disappears. The next morning, the group hears the city bells ringing, signaling that the spooks are being summoned. Soon after, a group of knights arrives to escort them to the city, a journey that will take 2 days. When they arrive, a priest tells them about a terrifying beast that no man dares to approach. The creature, locked in a cage, looks like a bear, but Gregory immediately recognizes him as Urag, one of Malkin's most bloodthirsty lieutenants. Gregory orders all the soldiers to leave and secures the doors before announcing that he'll fight Urag alone. The beast breaks out of the cage and attacks, but Gregory throws silver powder at him, forcing him back into his human form. A fierce hand-to-hand fight begins, with both men displaying incredible skill. When Urag manages to corner Gregory against a gate, Tom throws an object at his head, causing him to drop Gregory. Enraged, Urag turns on Tom and starts beating him, but Gregory seizes the opportunity to strike from behind and resume the fight. This time, Gregory gains the upper hand, forcing Urag to climb the walls to escape. Gregory instructs Tom to act as bait, making him jump onto a cage. As Tom leaps off, Gregory cuts the rope, causing the cage to fall and crush Urag. Gregory then attempts to choke him with a chain, but Urag transforms back into a bear. Tom quickly throws more silver powder, forcing him into human form again, and together, he and Gregory push Urag into a cage and chain him up. The knights pour oil into the room, and Gregory orders Tom to set it on fire to kill Urag once and for all. However, Tom hesitates, unable to bring himself to kill, so Gregory does it himself. As Urag burns, Gregory coldly tells Tom that he's useless if he can't kill witches, then walks away. Watching from a distance, Alice later finds Tom in private. She explains that she's been researching the spark between them, and reveals that sometimes it means shared destiny, but other times, it's just dust. She also tells him that Gregory was once in love with a witch. Suddenly, Tom kisses her, and they spend the night together. Tom dreams of running away with Alice to a safe place, but Alice tells him no such place exists. This triggers a vision of the world consumed by darkness, and Malkin killing Gregory. Worried, Tom decides to return to his master, kissing Alice goodbye. Meanwhile, Malkin receives the rest of her lieutenants, who inform her of Urag's death. Furious, she orders Lizzie to bring her Gregory, so Lizzie transforms into a bird and flies off. The next day, Tom reunites with Gregory, who confesses that he once loved Malkin. She wasn't always evil, but fear and hatred corrupted her. When she found out he had married someone else, she killed his wife in a jealous rage. Gregory captured her but couldn't bring himself to kill her, so he locked her away instead, something he now deeply regrets. He takes Tom to his wife's grave and admits that he's hard on him because he doesn't want Tom to make the same mistakes. As they continue traveling, they stop when Tusk arrives with an urgent warning. Suddenly, the ground trembles and cracks open, sending the horses fleeing in terror. A monstrous creature known as a boggart erupts from the earth, pushing the carriage over and throwing them to the ground. Gregory shouts that boggarts can't be fought and tells everyone to run. The creature hurls the carriage at them, causing them to tumble down a hill. Tusk roars at the boggart, momentarily startling it, but the beast quickly swats the troll aside. Gregory and Tom flee through a mountain tunnel, but find themselves trapped on the edge of a cliff. The boggart reaches for them, so they take a desperate leap into the river below. A fisherman on a raft pulls them aboard, and Gregory thinks they're safe, until the boggart suddenly crashes into the water, sending them all tumbling back in. The creature grabs Tom, who stabs its hand with a knife, forcing it to release him. Tom then climbs onto its back and drives his blade into its spine. Weakened and unable to swim, the boggart is swept away by the current and plunges over a waterfall, smashing into rocks and dying. Tom manages to swim ashore but is immediately confronted by Lizzie, who warns him to stay away from Alice. She threatens him with a sword, but when Tom grabs the blade, his necklace activates, emitting a burst of magic that disarms her. Lizzie recognizes the stone and realizes it belongs to Malkin. Alarmed, she transforms into a bird and flies away to warn her. Moments later, Tom reunites with Gregory, who recognizes the necklace as the Umbran Stone, the most sacred artifact of the witches. It enhances their powers and makes their illusions nearly indistinguishable from reality. If Tom's mother had it, that means she's the witch who originally stole it from Malkin, which also explains Tom's visions. At her lair, Malkin tries to convince Alice that Tom is just as cruel as Gregory. Alice refuses to believe it, so Malkin offers her a deal. If Alice retrieves the stone from Tom, she won't kill him. Meanwhile, Malkin uses her magic to strengthen her lieutenants and orders them to attack the city. The city gates explode as the lieutenants descend, slaughtering people in every direction. One of them transforms into a monstrous beast, while another wields multiple swords with his many arms. Tom's mother rushes to hide her daughter with a friend, before using her magic to hurl a pitchfork at one of the lieutenants, impaling him against a pole. She then seizes his staff and kills him. Nearby, Malkin is cutting down knights with ease when she senses the presence of magic. Tom's mother tries to strike first, but Malkin swiftly wraps her in her tail and burns her alive. In the mountains, Alice waits for Tom to be alone before approaching him. After kissing him, she asks him to run away with her. Tom confesses his love, but their moment is interrupted when Gregory suddenly appears and captures Alice with Bolas. He accuses her of being a spy, but Tom refuses to believe it and cuts her free, allowing her to escape. Furious, Gregory seizes Tom and reveals that the stone is missing. Alice only kissed him to steal it. Tom runs into the woods, searching for Alice, but instead, he's ambushed by Lieutenant Radu and his minions. Despite fighting as hard as he can, there are too many of them. Gregory and Tusk arrive just in time to join the battle, helping to take down more enemies. When they try to escape, they find their path blocked by a cliff. More minions appear and push Tusk over the edge, then capture Tom by wrapping a rope around his legs and dragging him down the cliff. Gregory tries to save him, offering his staff as a lifeline, but Tom slips and falls. Taking advantage of the distraction, Radu hurls a chain at Gregory, trapping him in a net. The lieutenant wants to kill Gregory, but has orders to take him alive. Meanwhile, Tom survives the fall and has a vision of his mother's death. Her ghost appears beside him, encouraging him to be brave, because he is the only one who can use the stone to defeat Malkin. Determined to fight, Tom finds Gregory's staff and rescues Tusk, who is still hanging off the edge of the cliff. That night, in Malkin's lair, Radu slices through Gregory's ropes and kicks him out of the cage, presenting him before Malkin. Radu falsely reports that Tom died in the fall, and Lizzie tries to justify it to her daughter, but Alice is still heartbroken and furious. Using the Umbran Stone, Malkin attempts to hypnotize Gregory into joining her. He moves closer as if entranced, but before they can kiss, Alice suddenly reaches between them and snatches the necklace. Dodging the guards, she runs away, breaking the spell and making Gregory cry out in terror. Enraged, Malkin grabs Gregory with her tail and hurls him against a building before transforming into a monstrous creature and flying after Alice. Lizzie begs her not to harm Alice, but Malkin ignores her, so Lizzie transforms as well and follows. As Malkin is about to strike, Lizzie grabs her wing, forcing them both to crash into a row of stone columns. One collapses, nearly crushing Alice, and the necklace ends up buried under the rubble. When Malkin breathes fire, Lizzie falls, but the witches continue their battle. Meanwhile, Radu transforms into a massive beast, smashing the ground and roaring in Gregory's face. Elsewhere, Alice hides but is quickly found by Tom, who holds a knife to her and demands the stone. She admits she lost it and only stole it to protect him. Before they can talk further, a minion spots them. Tom throws a knife at the enemy's face, but it gives away their position, alerting more enemies. Tusk jumps in to hold them off, allowing Tom to engage in hand-to-hand combat using Gregory's staff, while Tusk fights with his brute strength. Alice, too, is forced to defend herself as Malkin tries to attack, but Lizzie intercepts her mid-air. As Tusk battles the minions, Tom faces a lightning-fast lieutenant who repeatedly slashes him with a knife. She briefly stops to transform into a wild cat, giving Tom the opportunity to find the necklace. As soon as he puts it on, he activates the power of Gregory's staff, instantly burning the lieutenant to ash. Alice is still fighting off minions when she runs into another powerful lieutenant. He quickly overpowers her and is about to strike the final blow when Tom arrives just in time, attacking with the staff and incinerating him. Meanwhile, the beastly Radu captures Gregory, who accuses him of lacking honor for refusing to fight as a man. Accepting the challenge, Radu shifts back to human form and hands Gregory a blade so they can duel fairly. Though evenly matched at first, Gregory soon suffers a deep slash to his stomach and is forced to retreat. Radu then topples a column, forcing Gregory to emerge. In response, the spook retaliates with his chain blade, finally taking Radu down and killing him. High above, Malkin sinks her fangs into Lizzie's neck and impales her with her tail. In retaliation, Lizzie stabs Malkin in return, and both scream in agony as they plummet to the ground, reverting to their human forms. Weak and wounded, Lizzie pleads for Alice's life, but Malkin calls her a traitor and mercilessly kills her. She then retreats into her lair, and Gregory tells Tom he must face her alone. Entering the lair, Gregory prepares to strike, but Malkin feigns weakness, luring him close before seizing him by the throat. Before she can finish him off, Tom suddenly appears and throws a knife, striking Malkin fatally. As she whispers something about a curse, Tom sets her ablaze, ensuring her end. Later, Gregory burns a mark onto Tom's hand using his staff, officially declaring him a spook. Alice approaches, questioning whether their spark was just an illusion, but Tom kisses her, proving his feelings are real. However, he has chosen the path of a spook, which means they must part ways. With his journey at an end, Gregory decides to retire, entrusting his home, staff, and even Tusk to Tom. Just then, the city bells ring, a new summons. Tom's first job as a spook has begun.